Do you ever find yourself in a situation where you're being requested something from someone? So someone's requesting something of you, and they're asking you to do something, and in the back of your mind, when they start asking you, you're like, oh no, why are they have the audacity to ask me that, this favor of them that they're asking. And as they're asking, you're like, man, I don't want to do this. I really, really, really don't want to do this. And all you can do is be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do it. Fine, yeah, we're friends. Yeah, let's do it, right? That happens to a lot of people, again, including myself sometimes, even after I've tried to learn more about how to say no, right? When you say yes to these requests, first and foremost, it creates resentment. And so I'll break that down. So when someone's asking you something, it's like, hey Ellis, can you, it could be something as simple as, what's that, an example? Hey Ellis, can you pay for my lunch? Let's say if you're on a lunch date with someone and they're asking you that. Something as simple as that. And I want to say that it's normal to not want to do things just because, you know? You need to validate your emotions, you need to validate yourself. There should have to be no reason, no specific reason for you not want to do something in that sense. But anyway, so getting back to that. So let's say someone asks me to pay for their lunch. For whatever reason, I don't want to do it, right? And I end up saying yes. The minute I do that, it creates resentment from me towards that other person. For a lot of you, this happens after the request has been made and then you've said yes, you've made a commitment to this task of whatever they're trying to ask you. You start saying this. It's like, man, fuck Bob. What the hell, Bob? Like, he had the audacity to ask me, man, he's always asking me stuff. I can't believe what such a bad friend that Bob is. You know, and you start saying all these things and you start thinking all these things behind your friend's back. So it creates resentment. And Noah St. John basically says that at that point, it's no longer the person's fault, the person that asks you. At that point when you're creating that resentment, that's something you did. That's something that you've created, that's something negative that you've embedded in the relationship. And again, that's your fault. Some people might not want to hear that, but essentially it's true, right? So that's what saying yes when you mean no does. It creates resentment, first and foremost. That's what it does in the relationship. Another thing that saying yes to requests being made of you that you mean no to is kind of portray this image to other people that they can continually ask you of things. Because when you're saying yes to requests being made of you, essentially you're saying that you're available, which is not necessarily a bad thing in a sense, but what most people do and what I used to do is say yes all the time, right? What I used to do is just say yes to every single request made of me. The energy that you have to always want to say yes to people, it's this deep-rooted social phenomenon that we all have going on in our heads, at least in, you know, Western society, at least in the society I've been brought up in, which is shared with a lot of people, is that we have to please people, we have to appease people, we have to make sure that everything we do is to the benefit of others, even if that's at the cost of our own feelings, our own agendas, right? It's this deep-rooted, again, social construct created by whoever, I'm not really sure, but so that's that. That's the energy that is not allowing you to say no, right? And no one really teaches you to say no. You're always taught to say yes, again, to appease and to please other people. So that's that. That's some of the reasoning behind why you can't say no. So let's go back to the example that I gave. If my good friend Bob over here is asking me to pay for his lunch or whatever it is, and as opposed to saying yes and creating this commitment that I never wanted to create, and creating this resentment that I never wanted to create towards him. So backtracking, if you were to have said no, right? Ellis, can you pay for my lunch? No, not today. Right then and there, you've saved, again, the commitment that you never wanted to create. You save all that resentment. And not only that, the next thing I'm going to talk about is that you show Bob, or whoever it is, that you respect his time and you respect your time. Because again, if you say yes, if you were to have said yes, which most of us do, again, you waste people's time. You waste Bob's time because you won't want to be doing this task of his full-heartedly, full-fledgedly. That's not a word. And you're wasting your own time because you are creating this task and this commitment in your mind that you didn't want, first of all. And I keep saying that and overemphasizing that because this is about self-love, right? Self-love in regard to respecting your own time and respecting what your inner voice is telling you. And it's telling you that you don't want to fucking pay for Bob's sandwich, right? So, what people are missing is that, at least in this context, how people treat you, in the context of how people request things of you, how often, and, you know, whether or not they do so, or whatever, you have a big part in a way, training people how to treat you in that regard. Because if you're always the person that says yes, or I guess I'll say this, if you are the person, if you are a person that goes through this, I bet you go through this a lot, because it's a tendency, it's a habit, it's a bad habit. And now I'm going to transition into an exercise that has helped me, something that I've made up in the past amount of time that I've been trying to live like this, trying to live in such a way where I have the balls and I have the courage to say no, especially to the people that I love, because I want to be real with them. What you're going to do is get grounded, first of all. Step one, get grounded. Meaning, whether if you're sitting down, like me, or if you're standing up, just make sure your feet are grounded. And what I mean is just pressing down to the floor, because, well, as you will see if you keep watching my videos, the mind, and the soul are all connected, right? People sometimes forget this. So get grounded, step one. Step two, start breathing deeply. So relax everything and start breathing deeply. Right? So, step three. Step three is kind of like a multi-step thing. So step three, you're going to do a few things. In step three, you're going to think of a time when someone asked you something, or asked you to do something, and you didn't necessarily want to do it. If you can, try to think of something that actually happened, because this exercise and this whole thing, this whole philosophy I'm teaching you will be a lot, tremendously more helpful, I feel, if you actually think of something that has happened in your life, right? So, okay, so I'm grounded, I'm breathing deeply. Now I'm gonna think, okay, just because I used this example earlier, I'm gonna think, okay, so last week Bob asked me to pay for his lunch, and I just really didn't want to, So imagine that's step three. Think of it, and when you think of it, just recite, what happened, recite in your mind. Okay, so in my mind I'm hearing Bob's voice saying, Ellis, do you think you could pay for my lunch today? Right? That's step three. Visualize. As you visualize, right after, inhale, and on the exhale say, no. If you notice, no. No. If you notice when I'm saying no on the exhale. I'm trying to do it with a smile, right? So again, one more time, just get grounded. Breathe deep. Visualize the event. Ellis, can you pay for my lunch? No, Bob. And so what this exercise does is it It allows you to literally, physically practice saying no. It will seem very new. It will seem very uncomfortable. It'll take some time. It'll take some practice. I challenge you, I encourage you to apply it, to maybe watch this video a few times, maybe take some notes, and apply it in your real life. Saying no to requests that you know that either you can't commit to because of time, or just because you don't want to. It's okay. It's okay to say no. The answer of no to a request is it exists. You know, it's not just yes, 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 yes all the time. You know, so self-love. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and as always, lift, laugh, and love. Till next time.